Hi guys, I'm Huib and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to give you 7 steps to get into university in the United States as an international student. Let's go. Step 1. You've got to do a little bit of research and look at the programs that the certain schools are offering. So for example, I went to LIU, Long Island University in Brooklyn, New York, and I wanted to go into law school, and in order to get into law school it was good for me to start a political science program. And so fortunately LIU was offering that. So if you know what you want to study, look for schools that actually offer that program before you even start thinking about doing this process. So if you want to study engineering, look for engineering school. If you want to study computer science, look for computer science schools. Look, if you want to study fashion and your school is not offering fashion, there's no point in going to that school. So do some research. Hey, if you like this video so far, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel to help me reach more people like you. Step 2. So you have found the school that is offering the program you want to do. The next step is to check their admissions requirements. There are almost 4,000 universities and colleges in the United States, and these colleges and universities can either be private or public. This pretty much means that public schools receive funding from the government, whereas private schools are self-sufficient. That's why normally private schools are more expensive and harder to get into than public schools. For example, the Ivy League schools, some of the best schools in the country, are all private schools, so they have higher standards for admissions than, let's say, a public school like West Virginia University. It's important to check the admissions requirements before you even want to proceed with the next step, which is step number 3. And this is a little bit coming from my experience. You got to research the area the school is in. So you have a particular school in mind where you want to go to. It's important to research the area and see if this school fits your lifestyle. A lot of international students have no clue where they're ending up. For example, a friend of mine that came to the United States a year before I came to the US wanted to study and play football in the United States, but he ended up signing with a school in the middle of Missouri, which is pretty much the middle of nowhere, and he had to find out the hard way. The thing is that in a radius of 15 miles there's not much to do, and there's not even a grocery store close by, which means if you don't have a car, it's very hard to get around, very hard to get groceries, very hard to do fun stuff. Of course you're gonna have food on campus, of course you're gonna have fun stuff on campus, but outside of that it's just one little bubble, and there's not much outside that little bubble. But that's why it's important to do a little bit of research before you decide to go to the school that you're about to go to. Then step 4 is take a standardized test if that's required. 5 years ago it was pretty much standard to take the SAT before even thinking of going to college. However, during COVID, a lot of schools decided to waive the standardized test scores, meaning you don't need them in order to get into certain universities or colleges. So what you need to do is check with your school if you're required to take the standardized test or not. If they do, you have to prepare for it. If they don't, you can just let it rest and don't worry about it. Step 5. In this step, you're going to apply to the particular college or university that you have in mind. So once you have figured out the requirements to get into a particular school, you now have to apply to the school. One thing I can tell you is that there will always be an application fee, so it can become quite expensive if you're applying to 100 different schools at one time. However, there's certainly ways to avoid paying for the fee, but in general, I would say the fee is around $50. Step 6. You gotta explore ways to pay for your school. Like I said, it can become very expensive to study in the United States, especially as an international student. But there are many ways in which you can receive a scholarship, which then goes towards your education. For those who don't know what a scholarship is a financial aid given by an organization to you so you can afford to go to school. Normally it requires you to have a certain skill, for example, being very smart or be very good in a certain sport. But there are many other scholarships as well. Personally, I've received over $200,000 in scholarship through playing soccer, playing football here in the United States, and I was able to earn my bachelor's as well as my master's degree, and I barely had to pay any money for it. If you want to know more about scholarships, there will be a video linked here above somewhere, so I would say check it out. We're going to step 7, the final step, which is you finally apply for a student visa. A visa will allow you to travel freely from and to the United States, and it will allow you to legally stay in the United States during your time of study. All countries have different requirements for obtaining a student visa, so make sure to check them and see which ones are applying to you. And then this is very important. Schedule an appointment with the American embassy in your country. And you need to do this at least a couple months before you're planning on going to the United States in order to get all the paperwork going and all the paperwork finished. Because without a student visa, you will not be able to come to the United States and stay as a student. And there you have it, guys. 7 steps for international students students to get into college or university in the United States. Will you join my free Discord? This Discord is for people that want to study in the United States but don't know how. It will give you the resources needed to study in the United States, and it will answer any questions you might have about this process. I was like you, I had no clue about how to do this process. Like I said, it's totally free. I built this because I wish I had something like this before coming to the United States. Have a great day and hopefully see you in the Discord.